My throat hurts so bad. I can't stand it. I'm pretty sure Henry has the flu. So we are battling the sickness over here, as most people are. But anyways, all right, phase 2, you guys, good evening, good evening, good evening. I do not want to take a ton of your time. I offer these calls for you guys to come and to learn a little bit, but also to answer any questions that you have. But tonight, specifically, Abby and I are doing something a little bit different this month. Sorry, like I said, my throat hurts. So we actually have these 2 trackers that we put into the group for you guys. Now, of course, you have the business activity tracker. It's an amazing tracker, you guys. It is a total and complete roadmap for your fitness, your faith, fitness, health, business. All right. So if you use the business activity tracker and it works for you and you like having all those things on one sheet for the whole week, please use it. Like even use it to track. If you use the back of it to write down names of people that you are inviting. So these 2 trackers are like a daily tracker. All right. So you would either print off like 5 for the week, because you guys, seriously, I'm going to encourage you, build your business primarily in 5 days. Like you can build this business Monday through Friday and still have time for your family and honor them with your time. I do work on Saturday a little bit, honestly, because I just love some of the things that I do. And also, it's a good time for me to plan and to catch up and things like that. But if you plan to work Monday through Friday and do all the things on this sheet, just print 5 of them. Or here's another really good idea, like just save it on your phone and use like the WordSwag app or something, and you can check these off as you go through the day, right? So I really like these trackers because, and I think I said I created these. I did not create these. If I said that, I'm sorry. That was a total lie. Did not mean to lie. We got these from somebody else, but I really like these because, especially, I'm going to go over the new coach one and the business builder tracker. And they're very similar, but there are a couple of important differences. So you decide where you want to start. If you are a newer coach and you've only been through phase 2, like once, I'm sorry, I can't think, y'all. I'm tired. If you've only been through the new coach training like once or twice and you still feel like you're in that new coach phase, which honestly you really are for the first 3 or 4 months, use the new coach jumpstart tracker. It just doesn't have those daily targets on it for you to actually hit. But obviously adding to your network, we cannot skip this. And this gives us a little checkbox for you to say, okay, I followed, 10 people on Instagram. I added 10 new friends on Facebook. And if you don't add all 10, but you add 5, you're still doing a really good movement forward. Honestly, for the first 2 years as a coach, I only really added like 5 people. 3 to 5 people a day on Instagram and Facebook and my business group. Okay. Story replies. Again, these trackers are just a little bit more specific and focused in your work. Where the BAT says connect with new followers or watchers, this says story replies. So you're going to actually go to people that you follow. You're going to watch their stories, and from their story, you are going to reply or comment. You know how at the bottom of a, hold on, I'm going to pull this up for you guys because I can do that and it's amazing. I'm going to show you exactly what this is because I want you to be very efficient in your work. I don't want you to feel like, you are just kind of like, well, Rachel told me what to do, but I don't really know how to do it, right? So I'm going to show you specifically how to do this tonight. And just stop me if you guys have questions. Kimberly, I said, I'm pretty sure Henry has the flu and I don't feel so great. So
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
My sister and niece just got over that.
We really don't. We rarely get it. Okay, that's taking forever. Here it is. Okay. So when I say a story reply, so I'm going to go to Instagram, and of course I'm just blocked from posting right now. But if I go to, like, if I just scroll through here, like this is my friend Emily, I'm just going to use her as an example. A story reply is if I go to her stories, and if they have stories because there's that red circle around their profile picture. If I go and a reply is, see that at the bottom, it says send message. I'm going to say, oh my goodness. Oops, that's not what it says. How sweet. or, you know, usually probably would ask a question. That's a better way to do that part of your tracker. But that the big thing about that is that you're not just going and liking and commenting on photos, which is good, and you should do that, but it's so much more personal, and Instagram recognizes that, one, you watch that person's story, and that two, you are having a conversation through private messenger, and so they actually love that. Did I share the screen with you guys? I'm telling you, like it's a hot mess over here tonight. Okay, so this is my friend Emily. She's already like a challenger, so I'm just using her as an example. So what I did was I went to, and you can see if they have like stories, because it was red around her face, her profile picture, before I viewed her story. But you can see, like, if I scroll through here and I look at, so this is Paige. She does not have a red circle around her profile picture, so she doesn't have a story. So you're scrolling through and you're looking for people who Brennan Burchard does. I'm not going to message him. You're looking for people who have that red circle, like this girl. Okay, so she has that red circle up there, so I can go and I can click on her stories and I can flip through and I can actually message her. Here's my dress. I don't know what she's talking about. Oh, she's a realtor. Okay. I don't really have anything to say to her. Let me see. Okay. Okay. So I just replied to her story. That's what that is on that, that tracker that I'm showing you guys. Hold on. I'm going to go back over here. So right here where it says show interest in your followers, do that to 10 people today, every single day. And that's a really easy way to build connections, to start conversations, and to be very genuine. And also Instagram loves that you do that you're messaging people and using those tools. The next thing on the tracker is birthdays. So on Facebook, it will actually show you, pops up over to the right, top right-hand corner every day. It says so-and-so and like 14 other people have a birthday today. You can go through that list and send happy birthday messages. One of my friends, actually, she taught me a while back, and I've gotten really bad about birthday messages. Honestly, I need to get back to that. But she taught me that she'll actually look at the calendar, and you can go to like the next day. It'll tell you whose birthday is tomorrow, and she will actually send them a message the day before and say something like, hey, Sally, you know, like, I saw that your birthday's tomorrow. I know you're going to get slammed with messages and posts on your feed, but I just want to pop in and say, I hope you have a great birthday. And do you have anything special planned, right? So it's a really easy way to start a conversation, to ask a question, and to build that relationship with people maybe you haven't started to build a relationship with on Facebook yet. All right. So it just says has one box for birthdays. So like I usually, you know, like look for people who are kind of like part of my niche. If it's like an 18-year-old, I'm not going to do that. Or if it's like a, you know, somebody like Miss Jean Jones at my church who's like 92 years old, like, yes, I'll tell her happy birthday, but it's not with the intention of getting her to join my challenge group. So those are really good ways to do that every single day. And you're honestly and truly building a compound effect with that. Okay. Because when you go into someone's inbox, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, they automatically, the algorithm automatically recognizes that as a more personal relationship, and your posts and your stories are going to start to show up in that person's feed more. All right. So that's really important. Obviously, the non-negotiables, did you work out? Did you drink your Shakeology? Do your personal development? I think that checking into the team page and checking into challenge groups are two things that coaches very quickly forget to do. So if you find yourself there, if you don't go into I go into my coach's team page every single day because, you know, I don't want to miss something important that she shares. I try not to post more than like once a day in our team page. Because I want it to be valuable information and not just time consuming. And then the challenge group thing, like I can't tell you how many coaches become coaches, and they stop checking into the challenge group, right? That is so, so important, you guys. You are always a challenger. And I'm not just saying do it, you know, yes, do it to lead by example. Do it to go and to you be able to screenshot and share it in your stories, but do it because you need that accountability yourself. And you guys, if you ever leave my challenge groups and you need back in, like I always have a spot for you to jump into a challenge group. sometimes I'll message Melanie Mitchell and be like, hey, put me in your challenge group this month. I just need that focus, okay? Because that is the foundation, honestly, of your coaching story. And I'm going to talk more about that in just a minute. And then as far as social media, these are just kind of like, I mean, like on Instagram, I post once a day. But on Facebook, I will post 2 to 3 times a day. I definitely always try to post my workout selfie or something on Facebook. I do it definitely every day in my stories on Instagram, or it's a lifestyle or call to action. Some days, honestly, on my Facebook page, it's all 3. I do all 3 of those because I'm doing it in my stories anyways. So I just take that content and make it into a Facebook post. And then daily stories. I like this tracker because it actually gives you like, this is what you do. This is what you post about in your stories, instead of just going and saying, make 10 to 15 stories. Well, what in the heck do I post about, right? Because I think it's easy for all of us to become just Beachbody coaches, and we're just talking about our workout and we're just talking about Shakeology, and that's good. You should show those things in a very discreet kind of way. Like, I'm not going in there every day and saying I'm doing 80-day obsession. I might reference it once or twice throughout the program, but I talk about my 80-day workout. I talk about that today's workout was cardio and HIIT, and I do something personal with it. These stories with your workout clips, guys, it's so easy to speak to your target market. Like today, was today the day that I talked about how it was pouring down rain outside and I didn't have to get in a car and commute to a gym, right? That is something that really speaks to somebody like me who's a busy mom who doesn't probably have a lot of time, or like maybe I should go back and talk about how when I started this, Milo was 2 and Henry was 3. And I couldn't go to a gym. Like I had to, I just couldn't leave them. I would wake up at 4 every day and want mommy. And I didn't want to be gone, right? So that speaks to my target market. If my kids work out with me in a photo, I could do some kind of song like that's kind of feelsy and talk about how I love that they're right beside me. And so those workout clips aren't just workout clips. They are actually opportunities for you to tell people why this works for you and to tell a little bit more of your story. So put that, like today I did the cardio core. I talked about the fact that I did that workout with one of my, she's more of a discount coach right now, but she went on the Success Club cruise with me, and I talked about the fact that we did that on a cruise together. And, I just kind of wanted to drop that little nugget in there so people would be like, what's she talking about? Why did she work out on a cruise? And I'll explain it more at another time. I think Energize is a super easy and effective story to make every day, because here's the thing, you guys. People want to know how you get up in the morning. People want to know, what is that yellow powder that Kimberly's always mixing up? May not ask you directly, but it gives you an opportunity to go back and be like, hey, some of you guys asked about my Go-Go juice. This is what it is. It's plant-based. It's really natural. It's very slow working. It doesn't make me jittery. If you want to try a sample, just message me. And you can buy these little samples or the sticks. These flat ones that come in the 10-pack box, you can mail them. The sticks will bust if you try to put them in a flat envelope, okay? I think did yours bust when I sent yours, Kimberly? Somebody, there was like a little phase where I tried to send them over and over and they busted on everybody. Anyway, so I had to go back to buying the little flat ones, but that's okay. It's volume, and that volume helps your income, and it's a write-off too. So anyway, so Energize, it's really easy. And here's the other thing. If you drink Energize every day and people join your challenge group, it's really easy to say, hey, do you want me to add my Go-Go juice to your cart when I build it? And they'll get it at a discount, and they will want to try it because you're drinking it, right? And so also post about it in your challenge groups too, because that creates volume and residual income from people who are using it. Let's see, workouts, Shakeology, Recover. Obviously, I don't do the best job of showing my shake every day in my story, but I try to every other day. And it's really easy, you guys. Again, tell your story. Is it your fast and easy, I'm on the go kind of mama meal? Is it for me, it helps with my hormones a lot. It is just honestly, I crave it. Now it really keeps me out of the sugar box, or we don't have sugar in our house anymore because I can't handle it, but it keeps me out of chocolate and it curbs that sweet craving. Talk about your shake, and every now and then talk about the fact that this is not just a protein shake. So you can list the words probiotics, prebiotics, digestive enzymes, Camu, like whatever. Just look for some of the ingredients and pop them on there. Hashtag more than just a shake, right? So that's really easy to do. People will ask you about these things. And two, like you can't ask people to come and spend $160 on something that they don't even realize you're doing yourself. It's just credibility, it's integrity, and it really backs up those conversations and those sales that you're going to make. Does that make sense? Okay, so I invite every single day, pretty much in my stories, to my team or to a boot camp. You guys follow me and Abby, you see what we do. I know that we share our templates with you guys a lot for our coaching stories. Just follow our example and make them your own. The stories go away every 24 hours. If you have some that you really love or you get a good response to, like highlight them. Make a highlight on your Instagram story, your page, and highlight it so that people can see those over and over again. You guys all know how to make a highlight, right? I think that you should at this point. If not, just let me know. One meal. Again, it doesn't have to be like Instagram worthy. I do like to edit mine because my house tends to be a little bit dark, even with our overhead lighting. I do like to lighten up my photos, but you can do that with a swipe in your filters, in your stories. And so like people don't know how to eat. Like people don't know how to eat. And if they see that you are making clean meals that aren't like crazy, like super sophisticated, like all well styled on a plate, like they're going to be like, well, maybe she can teach me how to do this. Right. So I do try to show at least one meal a day in my stories. Today, I shared that, I showed my dinner meal and I talked about how it was like my come to Jesus moment. I've had a really like rough month or two of not staying on track, and like it's time. It's time for me to claim God's word and to get back on track. Okay. So it's kind of that approach to it. Share recipes. Ask people if they want the recipe. Give away a recipe once or twice a week in your stories. Tell people to screenshot this next slide, and you can make this recipe too. Be so willing to give more than you take, you guys. Like that's going to go a long way in your business. All right. Personal development book. I've really been trying to do this with my team, like challenge each other to share a personal development. I never would have anticipated it, but if I share a screen, like take a picture of a page of my book and I underline something and I say a few words on there, I get so many messages in my inbox. Sometimes they're a lot from other coaches, but sometimes they're just from people who need inspiration asking me, hey, what is that book? Like, what's the name of that book? So when you do a personal development takeaway, don't tell them what the name of the book is, okay? And that shows people also too, you're leading that coach-like behavior for your future coaches even before they join your team. So you know how important it is to read your personal development. You want your coaches to do it when they join your team. If they see you in a habit of doing it, then they are much more likely to do it as well. All right. Boomerang anything. I think that it's really important not to have just like 5 to 10 stories of you talking or just 5 to 10 stories of you having like still pictures. Like boomerangs are fun and they're a really good way to break up the monotony of you talking or of you just telling stories, right? I like to boomerang my kids. I like to boomerang, when I do my Energize, I like to boomerang, like if we go out for a walk or something like that. It's just a really good way to break it up and it adds some interest. I do try to post in my stories every single day about coach life. So like just before I came on here, I showed a picture of my tea. I was talking about how I didn't feel great, but I've got some trainings to do tonight, or I'll recognize like a team member or something like that. Or if I'd like scroll through my challenge group and I'd share a video of that, like that's coach life. I love this. This fills my cup, right? So always do something that shows people coach activities. Another really easy thing to do, you guys, is like do a boomerang of like your desk at night. And then you could put some words on there that just kind of gives a rundown of what you did today in your business. Created some new content for my challengers, enrolled some new girls in my boot camp, sent out some little that sounds weird, love letters, but notes of love to my new challengers or my coaches or whatever. And so just give like a little bullet point rundown of what you did in your coaching business. It doesn't always have to be like a, work with me Wednesday kind of series or like this whole series of stories. Just show people what you did. Even maybe go talk in your stories and be like, whoa, it's crazy day, but it's a good day. You know, like I got to do this in my business and I just really feel like I'm going to bed. Like my cup is full, right? So that's pretty simple thing to do as well. And then talk in at least 3 clips. Like I know this is really hard for new coaches, but and even sometimes for me, I just don't feel like talking, where I don't look like I should be on there talking. But honestly, people don't really care, but they need to hear your voice. Like they need to hear your passion. They need to hear your purpose in your voice, and it goes a long way. All right, so talk in at least 3 clips, and then obviously invite. I don't think I need to go into that with you guys, and follow-ups every single day. Definitely invite, you know, more and follow up every single day. And then the only difference in the new Coach Jumpstart tracker and the Business Builders tracker is that you're more focused and intentional in the amount that you do. All right. So you can add 15 people to your network very easily on Instagram and Facebook. I think you got to be careful and spread it out throughout the day. I think you can only add or unfollow 50 people at a time within an hour, or Instagram flags you. So just make sure you pay attention to that. But yeah, seriously, like you could add, you know, you could sit down for an hour and follow 50 people on Instagram and then, you know, not do it for a couple of days, or you could do it every day. You know, that's really up to you, but just definitely set a goal and stick with it. And then same thing for the rest of the things, your invites, your story replies, your follow-ups. Okay, so the invites, these are huge numbers. I have never invited like that on a daily basis in my business. I tend to invite an average of like 10 people a day. Now, if you are like, girl, I got goals and you got the people out there to invite and do it with, then go for it. But I feel like when you're getting to like 40, 50, 60 and above invites, you're sending cold invites. And I don't love that. I don't love that. I would focus on larger numbers and showing interest in your followers in the story replies. And then naturally every day, just convert those to invitations, right? So that's my 2 cents on that. I'm sure other coaches have built their business differently and maybe send cold invites, but it's just not my style. I just don't love it. So that is, I really just want to give you guys a rundown of that tracker, give you some more focused intentions, like when you're doing your daily work. And then I'm going to ask you guys too, if you have any questions about that. But the last thing I want to share with you, and I'm sharing this because of my own personal experience, is in the last month or 6 weeks, I really felt like kind of just stagnant in my business, like not stagnant as in like nothing's happening, but like stagnant in my mindset and my approach. And I know that when I get to that place, I've been here 5.5 years, you guys, like I've had many months where I was just kind of like, I don't want to get up and do the vitals today. You know, I don't want to check into my challenge groups today or whatever. And that usually comes because of something I'm doing or not doing. And I really and truly, like, I'm not lying when I say I had a come to Jesus moment today, this morning in my bed about my nutrition. Like, it was conviction heavy, Holy Spirit. Like, Rachel, you're telling people to do this and you're sitting in bed at 10 o'clock at night eating crackers and butter or whatever, you know, like, and it's really not only was I convicted about that, but nutrition affects my mindset. And I think clearly, and I'm most motivated and I'm most inspired when I am doing and following the plans. And so, Kimberly, I don't really have to talk to you about this because you're doing 10 rounds and I know they're like, follow the plan, follow the plan. But we should always be there. Like, we should honestly and truly, not just when we're part of a test group, not when we just come in and we do the 21-day fix and we crush it. We should honestly and truly, as coaches, always be in that mindset. And I mean, I know at Christmas time or whatever, like, you know, we have our treats, we get a little bit off track, but like I started 80-day obsession and I started with like, oh, I'll just kind of follow this nutrition plan. No, I should follow the plan, because my job is to, one, take care of myself. And these are like everything Beachbody does is sustainable. It's clean eating. There's no gimmicks, nothing fast, no get skinny fast kind of thing. It's doable and it's healthy and it's sustainable. And I believe that. So like, why am I not following the plans? Why am I trying these other things and like, trying, all these different crazy bad things just to see what happens? Like, I know, yes, I can intermittent fast and do the portion containers. I can do Whole30 and do the portion containers. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But I have gotten away from doing what worked for me in the very beginning. And so like, it is so important, you guys. And two, honestly, like there's so much content. Like when you follow the nutrition plans, if you watch the Ultimate Portion Fix videos, if you do the 80-day obsession, time nutrition or whatever, that is so much content for you to create throughout the week and talk about like, why is portion control good? Why are you, if you're doing time nutrition, why do you eat an hour before you work out? Or why do you stop eating at a certain time of day? Why is it important for you personally to get results to stop eating your yellows at lunchtime, right? When you're doing the plans and you are following the workouts and you're like, 80-day obsession, you're not supposed to have alcohol or sweets for like 6 weeks, right? Because it's an intense program. So like, I have to commit to that if I want to get other people to do it with me too. And if I want to see results, and if I want and realize that my body is my business. And I always hesitate to say that, not hesitate to say it. I just want you to understand that's not an icky thing. You don't have to look like Autumn Calabrese to be a good coach. You just have to be taking care of the body that God gave you and following the plans and sharing your results. So I am committing to 80-day obsession. I'm like 4 days in. I don't think I can do time nutrition. I'm going to try on the heavyweight days because I know it's important. But I talked to Kaylee Calabrese, who is Autumn's sister, and we're like friends from before 80-day obsession. But she's like, you can do time nutrition and just push your meals back. So like, I can still follow the plan, eat the containers, and educate people as I go and be an example that this does work, right? And so I'm going to do the workouts, I'm going to follow the plan, and I'm going to share my results every single week. I'm going to take those progress photos every single week. And even if there's not a visual change, I can still post it and talk about the internal change. I've gotten back to stopping eating at 5 o'clock, not watching TV late at night because I was staying up watching TV, eating. Like I can share that journey, which that's honestly, people relate to all of that so much more than they relate to, oh, I did a workout, I followed the plan, and look at these awesome results. Yes, people want awesome results, but people want the internal change that comes with it. That's part of the process as well. So just had to drive that home tonight for you guys. And okay, that's all I got, really. I'm done talking. Look, I did it in 30 minutes. Do you guys have any questions for me about anything? Just doesn't even have to be about what I talked about tonight, but do you need help with anything specifically? Because that's what these calls are for. Yeah, you're such a committed mama over there with that baby. I can't, there you go.
I don't know if this is really a question or maybe, I don't know, but so I've been like pretty consistent with the BAT? Is that what it's called?
BAT, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. At least for like 3 weeks. I mean, every single day I'm like checking all the boxes and stuff. And I've been promoting my group that I said starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so far I have 0 people.
Okay. So are you, I think that, like Kimberly can attest to, she had like a kind of a slow January too, but are you, like your invites, are you just sending the same invite every day? Is that something like, and our people are not responding? Like, so that's where I would start first. I would say, am I sending this invite every day and people just aren't responding, or I'm getting this far in conversations and people are checking out, or they're saying it's too expensive? Like, I think that it's definitely at this point where you guys are in your business, there's a point where you have to, I mean, in the beginning, I think for a coach that does it well and comes in and goes all in, like there's, you have this natural success, like that comes from people that watch you and are inspired to people already. And then you have to figure out like, it's a transition point. How do I talk to strangers? Like, how do I engage people who I don't know? How do I build trust with these people in these conversations? And so like, I think that like really dissecting your invite process, your conversation process, your call to action, your follow-ups. I think that's where we would start. So like, that's what I would ask you first. Like, what's happening? Are you inviting and nobody's responding? Or are you inviting and having conversations and nobody's following through? Or is it like you're getting the cost objection? Like, can you tell me a little bit more there?
I would say, sorry, both. A lot of people are just not responding.
Okay.
But then I also have some people who even like they filled out like they're like, I'm interested, and then they fill out my whole Google form and like they are like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I don't hear from them again.
Like after you send the information, or just after they fill out the form?
So after they fill out the form, let's see, and then like the last person was like filled out the form and was ready to go, and then I was like emailed them, said, okay, you know, here's some options of whatever, and then never heard anything back. So then like a couple days later, I said like, you know, because I did just find out that I got some promo codes, so I was like, you know, I'll, you know, if you want one of these promo codes, I have 2, like, let me know. And anyways, never heard back at all.
Okay. So, I mean, I operate on the rule that like they said they were interested. If they filled out the form, I usually go back to their goals and what they shared with me. And I mean, I'm like the kind of person that will follow up like 10 times and then like I'm done. Like, but that's a lot to follow up 10 times. But so what I do is I would email them and say, hey, did you get the information? Do you have any questions or concerns? I always open that door, because people do, they have questions, or they don't understand something, or, you know, it might be money. Like I said, they have to wait till payday, or they might not have the money or whatever. And so I open that door for them to say, yeah, this is too much, I can't afford it, or whatever. And then if they don't respond to my email, then I go back to the original place that we started to talk, which is usually like Instagram. And I'll go to the message box and say, hey, you know, I know you saw the message, and I know you had like insert their goals. Like you wanted to get fit before your wedding, or you wanted to drop 10 pounds, or you just wanted to lead by example for your family. I know that was really important to you. So I'm ready to help you get started. What's holding you back? Or can I answer some questions? Or like, can we just build your cart and move forward, get started, right? So I'm really direct. I'm really like, let's do it. And then usually if I, again, same thing, if I open that door, they say, well, I can't right now, or whatever. And if they don't respond, it's okay. What I do after that is, you know, usually a lot of those people continue to watch your stories. So like next month when I make my March challenge group series and I see that they watch it, I'll message them from that story and say, hey, do you want one of these first spots? I know you were really ready last month, but maybe it was just a bad time. You want to be my first challenger this month, or something like that, you know? So I keep the conversation open. And, you know, like too, obviously if they say no or it's too expensive, I break down like what the, you know, like share my experience with the cost and just say, well, can I do something for you now? Do you want a meal plan or whatever? Okay. So as far as your invites, like, are you sending cold invites, or how are you doing that?
I would say both.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. I try not to do the cold invite thing, but like I almost don't know how to not do that, because I don't have enough like followers
Okay.
to not do that. I mean, I honestly, like, I spend a lot of time trying to like gain my following and stuff like that, and interact with people and start conversations. I think I'm having a hard time finding like my tribe, I guess I could say. Like in my, like, I just became a mom.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have any, like, I don't know any other moms really.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have to like go find people that like connect with me.
Yeah.
I don't like already have like a bunch of mom friends.
Right. Are you a young mom, or, I mean, you can also use your like pre-pregnancy story at this point, because I mean, obviously she's not very old. So like, you know, I mean, you can share your, like, before I became a mom, like, these are the things I was afraid of. You know, before I became a mom, I was so worried I wouldn't be able to have a baby or get pregnant or whatever. And, you know, before I became a mom, before I had whatever her name is, like, this is what I was afraid of about being postpartum mom. You know, like, you can still pull from that story from before being a mom, because you're really not that far out from that. So I mean, I have 9 and 10-year-old kids, but I still talk about, like, when they were toddlers and things like that, you know. So don't be afraid of that. So I'm an if then coach. If I don't have anybody to invite, then I need to go build a lot of connections. If I don't have anybody to connect with, then I need to go follow like 50 people today, right? If I don't have anybody to follow, then I need to plug into my coach and say, hey, will you sit down with me and help me go find some people to follow? Just walk me through it one time. And like, let's do that. So it's not that it doesn't work. It's just that you've got to figure out, like, what do I need to be doing? What have I been doing that's not working? And I need to just ditch it. So, like, honestly, Katie, I never send cold invites. Like, I did in the beginning because my coach told me to, but I never, ever send a cold invite. I build a lot of relationships through, you know, like the writing of my posts, the content in my stories. And, you know, like, I build relationships with that 311, like, go like 3 of their posts, comment on one and follow them, right? Or respond to their stories. So I almost always connect with people on a very personal level before I transition it to an invite. And so one of the things I do, and I shared this with my team today, was like, I love the I'm sorry invite. Like, I will build a connection with a mama or a faith-based person or somebody for a while. And then, like, when my challenge group starts that month, or I start advertising it, I'll send them a message that just says, thank you so much for being such a faithful follower. I really appreciate your encouragement and support. And I know you watch my stories every day, and I'm so sorry. Like, we were talking about, like, you know, homeschooling, and I didn't even stop to think about inviting you to my challenge group until now. Would you like to learn more? Would you like some more information about my Live, Loved, and Set Free boot camp? I would love for you to join us, right? So that's what I do. I transition it from that original just relationship building message.
So, like, how long do you wait? Because, like, for instance, like, I've done a lot of that, like, you know, like, message, you know, 1 or 2 times back and forth or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, do I wait like a week and then I like invite them, or is it like, you have to be friends for quite a while? Or?
I mean, I use like my gut feeling, but if you're talking to people, if you're having conversations and you're doing your job of posting and, you know, like, inviting in your stories and stuff, they see what you do. They know what you do. So, like, I do use my gut. Like, if it's somebody who seems a little hesitant to build a relationship, I might try to invest in them a little bit more. But if it's somebody that's pretty open and we have good conversations, and, you know, like, I think as your content gets more refined and more focused on your niche, you'll start to have those more real conversations. But I think that, like, I just usually do it within like a month, probably. Yeah. As far as finding other moms, like, have you and Abby talked about that? Like, about how to search and, like, go to, like, brands and things like that and find their followers?
Yeah.
And so I would do a lot of polls as well. Like, I mean, I think going and doing those things on that tracker today, responding to their stories, is good, will help you build that relationship, but also ask a lot of questions in your stories. Like, you know, she's however many months old. Should she be sitting up by now? Should she be crawling by now? Or what did you do the first time your baby, like, choked on something? Or, you know, like, ask a lot of questions. People love to give you advice. People, especially like where you're at, people love to give you advice. So ask questions and build a lot of relationships that way.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Those are good questions. Those are roadblocks you run into. It's very much a natural part of this business. And we just learn how to overcome them and kind of change to adapt with the growth. All right. Kimberly, did you have anything?
I feel like I'm getting better at the relationship part. Sometimes I feel like I kind of struggle, like, once we kind of talk about, like, you know, a life or whatever, turning it towards the boot camp. But also I have had like lots of people say that they're interested, that they would love to do it. And then when we get into the details, it's like, oh, I don't have the money. I can't do that. Like I can't even pay my rent this month, so
Oh, yeah.
so I'm just kind of
Yeah.
figure all
Yeah.
that out.
So whenever, I mean, like if somebody can't pay their rent, I would be like, girl,
Right.
go pay your
Right.
rent. Yeah.
Exactly.
Which I know you do. I know you're not encouraging people to spend money they really can't. But at the same time, like if somebody tells me they can't pay their rent, then I'm like, oh my goodness, like, do they work? Like, do they have a job? Like you could ask them if they want to learn more about coaching,
Yeah.
I mean, I know that making that initial investment might be hard, but if they could make $150 their first month and, help pay their expenses, like use that as a transition. And a lot of people are like, no, I can't do what you do. I need to lose weight. But I'm always like boldly say, well, I believe in this. It's changed my life. And I know it could yours too, if you ever think about it. But, if they can't pay for it, then that's when I give them something. I give them a free meal plan, or I tell them, hey, here's a couple of these sample workouts. Like just do these, transition through them for a couple of weeks. And then like, why don't you start to put some money back? Like, I encourage people to put $20 a week back to buy your challenge pack. And then you can get started with us and you'll have access to the workouts for a year. And then if you decide you can afford Shakeology, then you can keep that going too. That's how I approach it. And I just keep those people like in my long-term funnel.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that help?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I have I've gotten a lot of cost objections these past couple months. But when I share my story about how I think people don't really realize where they're spending money, that once you start to get healthy, you won't be spending money on Diet Cokes anymore. You won't be spending money on the drive-through. You won't be spending money like on, all those sugary things you have in your pantry, which honestly cost a lot. Like a bag of Oreos, if you eat that stuff like on a regular basis, it adds up. And so like I challenge them by sharing my story, and I say, I totally get it. Like I did not want to buy this at first anyways, but once I just decided to go for it, I realized that meal planning, cutting out my Diet Cokes, cutting out the drive-through actually like was saving me a ton of money, even with ordering Shakeology. And then of course, like I shared with some people today, like I was like, I am a bold believer in Shakeology. Like I told this to somebody who I was having a conversation with, and I said, this is why. But I think just handling their objections with your own experience goes a very long way.
Yeah. Okay.
And then too, like, as you are adding followers, like, if you're following moms, look for moms who spend money at like boutiques and things like that. Like if they have money to spend it there, then they're probably gonna, not to target, like, but I'm not gonna target somebody who works at McDonald's and makes like $5 an hour. So that's something to think about too as you are growing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody, you're all good? This is good.
What about do you have any tips as far as like with this next challenge group that I'm doing? I'm having a really hard time just kind of figuring out, like with the bar one, it's easy because everybody's doing the same program.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I know there's like, I know in the Google Drive, there's like scripts and stuff for other things. I don't know. I guess I'm just like a very like
planned
person.
Like what to post in the group?
Yeah. And I'm when everybody's doing something different, it kind of is like, oh my God.
Yeah. So that's pretty simple. Like you could do, if you're like I need to follow this plan, like you could create a theme for your week. Like Sundays could be like, I don't know, I'm trying to think. You could be, are you faith-based, Katie? Like,
yeah.
I figured you are. Okay, so like Scripture Sundays, share a scripture verse that you're going to use to guide your choices this week. Monday could be like Meal Prep Monday or Meal Plan Monday. Drop a picture below of like a meal that you made from the meal plan you created for this week. Tuesday could be like Tasty Tuesday, you share a recipe. Wednesday could be, I don't know, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? Like Thursday could be Thankful Thursday, and you share like a devotion, what God's done in your life through this. Friday could be like Flex It Friday, and everybody flexes, and so on. So like if you make a little calendar and just tell people what to expect, then every day you could, a lot of my content, like I have started purchasing content, but I still always personalize it, and I use what's happening in my life and things from my own personal studies as content in there. So just create a theme for your week and make it fun. Like make it fun, make it engaging. Ask some questions. And so like, yeah, we do have scripts in our Google Drives that you are welcome to use, but don't overcomplicate it. You're giving them a place to come and to check in. You're giving them a place where you're going to share resources. And so like, I would create like a weekly theme and run with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what, like, so then like we start a new one like in March.
Yeah.
So then do like the February people go into the March group, or how does that work?
So for me personally, for like 4 years, every single month, I started a new challenge group, and I would create a new group. I would put new people in, switch everybody over. We would do like a week of meal prep, and that's just kind of how I did it. And it worked fine. But I really have, what works best for me now, I started this last year, is I kind of have one group that's going to be open in the My Challenge Tracker app for the whole year. And every month I change the theme of it and the focus of it. And, as new people come in, like I don't do a prep week in my group, but they get emails from me walking them through their own personalized prep week. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And so like I'm not having to create a group every month. And honestly, I find that people don't want to be, people who are in it like with me, they don't want to be switched around every single month. And it becomes like this family as we welcome people in, and new people join, and they build relationships, and it's just really good.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's less work for you too.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a good question. All right, you guys, that's all I've got if you don't have anything else. All right. Let me say a prayer
Feel better
before we go, okay? I will. I feel better after I've just been like awake and talking. I want to say a prayer for you, and then we'll go, okay? God, I thank you so much for these women who took the time to come on and to be bold and to be brave and to spend some time growing their business. God, I pray that you would bless it. Pray that you would bless their conversations, their content. God, I pray that you would prepare the hearts of the women who they talk to make decisions to love their bodies and join these women's boot camps, because I know they have so much to give, God. I pray that you would squash any discouragement, that you would take captive any thoughts that they would take captive any thoughts that are dragging them down, any lies that they're believing about themselves and their abilities, God, and that they would give it over to you. God, I just know I see so much in both of them, and I know this business works, God, and I pray that you would help them to be focused, to do the work on their tracker every day, to go to bed confident, knowing that they did it, and to wake up tomorrow excited to go and serve women again. Again, I thank you just so much for Jesus and his precious sacrifice that was made for us. In his name I pray. Amen. All right, you guys, good night. See you later.
Thank you.